it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Moscow is dismissing President Trump's celebratory statements on the U.S. Special Forces raid, which allegedly killed Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, as premature propaganda. Detailing some of the dismissive statements to come out of Russia hours following the major White House announcement of a terror leader's death, or what's become the Trump administration's own bin Laden moment, the Daily Beast cites Russian TV state correspondent in the United States, Denis Davidoff, as saying, quote, Trump has elections coming up in a year, and the announcement of al-Baghdadi's liquidation will add some points for the commander-in-chief, end quote. And more provocative is that the Kremlin has even rejected the rare praise that Trump personally heaped upon its military for its cooperation in the killing. Trump said in his Sunday morning victory speech, the Russians were very cooperative. They were really good. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Last Wednesday, U.S. Attorney General William Barr issued a memorandum to all U.S. attorneys, law enforcement agencies, and top-ranking Justice Department officials, announcing the imminent implementation of a new national disruption and early engagement program aimed at detecting potential mass shooters before they commit any crime. According to the Mind Unleash, citing the memorandum, Barr has directed the Department of Justice and the FBI to lead an effort to refine the ability to identify, assess, and engage potential mass shooters before they strike. Perhaps the most jarring aspect of the memorandum is Barr's frank admission that many of the early engagement tactics that the new program would utilize were born of the posture adopted with respect to terrorist threats. In other words, the foundation for many of the policies utilized following the post-9/11 war on terror are also the foundation for the early engagement tactics that Barr seeks to use to identify potential criminals as part of the new policy. Chilean President Sebastián Piñera on Saturday said he would reshuffle his cabinet after over 1 million Chileans poured into city streets across the country on Friday to demand structural reforms to the country's government and economic system. The move by Piñera came as the protest movement mobilized people in the capital of Santiago and beyond. Piñera made his announcement late Saturday morning. The timeline and plan for the replacement of ministers remains unclear. On Saturday, Reuters reported that a document obtained by the news agency suggested the president was considering replacing the heads of at least 9 ministries, including the ministries of Interior, Defense, Economy, Transportation, and Environment. Chilean Senator Felipe Cast on Twitter credited the Friday protests with prompting the decision. The protests began October 15th after high school students occupied subway stations in Santiago to protest fare hikes. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Turning to health news, doctors at Johns Hopkins Medical School have discovered that bones are the coolest part of the body. The 10-year study found that although the body has many cool things in it, nothing is cooler than your skeleton.
Just think about it. You have this soft, fleshy body, but inside of it, there's a second, tinier body that's made out of a super hard rock. Our data is conclusive. Bones are very, very cool.
To conduct the study, researchers examined every single body part and determined how cool or uncool it was.
We initially thought the brain might be the coolest part because it's like a computer that runs on food. But when we looked at it up close, it was all gross and wrinkled. Brains are not cool. Bones are cool.
Doctors discovered that there are big, strong bones like baseball bats in your arms and legs, hand bones that look like a monster claw, and skull bones that make a scary face. Doctors did caution that as cool as human bones are, they're not nearly as cool as dinosaur bones.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Captain Kickass.
and I've been gone, as people have noticed, for like the last 2 weeks or so.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's been interesting. I've been actually pretty busy, but this last week was an In This Moment concert that I had to attend, and that just screwed my schedule up completely. It was a really interesting experience that ultimately culminated in myself wandering the streets of Worcester, Massachusetts, a city to which I've never been, very, very drunk at 1:30 in the morning with a dead cell phone.
Nice.
Yes.
that
and
sounds fun.
I didn't even know the name of the hotel that I was staying at. I did happen to know its address. Now, all of that started because, strangely, they had a lot of opening acts. There were at least 6. Right, the doors opened at 6, and that was when Little Miss Nasty went on. Very cool little act. But In This Moment didn't actually come on until about 11:30.
Okay.
Well, by then I was tore up. I was trashed. I needed to leave anyway. And she gets up there, and she starts talking about how giddy she is that her father fought in World War II and supporting the troops and this nonsense. So, I walked out.
Okay, what are you even bringing that up for? This is supposed to be a concert, right?
It was about their new song that they were about to perform, and she was just giving the introduction to it because it was going to be some kind of jingoist crap, I guess. So I just sort of walked out, giving them the finger, went outside, finally smoked a cigarette after not being able to have one in like 5.5 hours. That was agonizing when I was that
And this
drunk.
was the headlining act?
Yes.
Wow.
So I sat down on a bench, smoked my cigarette, pulled out my phone, and found it completely dead. There was no way to get back into the venue for the concert.
Oh,
so
no re-entry, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, well, the hotel is in that general-ish direction. And I started walking. Turns out I was heading the completely wrong direction. I did have cash, though, so it wasn't a big deal. Somebody ended up coming to a stop sign at the same time that I was passing through the intersection. So I was like, hey, I've got cash. I need a ride. He rolled down his window. He was like, well, I happen to be an Uber driver. I looked, and sure enough, he had an Uber sticker right there on the side. I was like, here's some cash. Take me here.
Nice. Nice.
So it ultimately ended well, but it was an interesting experience.
Rescued by the Uber driver.
Yep. So in the news lately has been this 7-year-old kid in Texas. I haven't been following it very closely because I am trans. So I just roll my eyes and continue scrolling whenever I see trans news because there's always something, right? If it's not a trans kid in Texas, it's going to be some trans athlete that has everyone butthurt. It's constant. It's perpetual. And I don't really care what side of the aisle people fall on. Will you please stop talking about it for 1 week? Just give the trans people in the world 1 week without you spouting off about how much you support trans people or about how much you don't support trans people. That would make me very happy.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah, because it's not happening, right? This has been beaten to death. I found 2 interesting stories about it, 2 completely conflicting stories, one from the Daily Beast and one from the Federalist. I want to start with the Federalist, though, because it has by far the most interesting take on it. So, in a closely watched Dallas, Texas child custody case, Judge Kim Cooks put aside the disappointing jury's verdict of Monday against the father and ruled Thursday that Jeffrey Younger now has equal joint conservatorship with the mother, a doctor, of their twin boys. Good God, they need an editor. That's no surprise. The mother no longer has unfettered authority to manipulate her 7-year-old boy into gender transition. That's my favorite sentence in the whole article. Instead, both mother and father will share equally in medical, psychological, and other decision-making for the boys. Additionally, the judge changed the custody terms to give Younger an equal amount of visitation time with his sons, something that had been severely limited. Now, what interests me most about this is all of the people who are weighing in and saying that trans people or whatever, however you wish to, people who are gender curious, whatever, should have to wait until adulthood to make the decision on whether or not to transition. And that's not having them wait to make the decision. That's you making the decision for them. Because what they don't seem to grasp is that between the ages of, let's choose a wide ballpark here, between the ages of 10 and 20, the person's body is going to undergo substantial and drastic physiological changes.
Right. Puberty kicks in and
right.
Everything goes haywire.
Happens to all of us.
It's not like they're pressing a pause button and saying, okay, well, once you're 18, once you're 20 years old, you can decide whether or not you want to hit unpause or whether or not you want to go down this other direction. No, they're saying, no, you're going to ride this path. You're going to go through your natural puberty, and that's going to be the end of it. And once you turn 18, once it's too late to fully transition, then you can make this decision. It's ultimately just crap that they're putting forward, and they're hiding this messed up view behind the veneer of it being for the children. They're like, oh, well, we don't want our children to be abused, but that's not the case at all. You're just abusing them in a different direction. You're just saying, no, you can't make this decision until you're 18. But reality, life as a human being, the Homo sapien species is going to make that decision for them.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like family court is involved with this particular case. And I know, not only from history, but, just being me, family court is probably the most horrendous version of court because it doesn't even follow the rules that regular court pretends to follow.
Yeah, it has no system of checks and balances or anything like that, right? Well, the court certainly shouldn't weigh in on it. I would agree. That's a mess in its own right, you know, but you have essentially, I see it more fascinating in the sociological terms, right? Like you have these two groups of people, each of them wanting to do what is best for the child, or at least claiming to. I don't believe the mother, the father, or any of the bystanders watching this have any concern whatsoever for the child. To them, it doesn't even exist. It's just some figment in their heads that they can use to push one political agenda or the other.
It's a football.
Yes, trans people are the rope that people love pulling.
It's
right?
the pet topic for all the authoritarians, right?
Yeah. So you got people like Arvin Vohra and others coming out and saying, look, if you can't consent to sex, you can't consent to a sex change, which is a sentiment I agree with, but I also have the perspective that, you know, when you're delineating these things in these terms, saying that, oh, this person can't consent to sex because the sun hasn't orbited the earth a certain number of times, is about as arbitrary as you can get. To me, experience is the best gauge of maturity and not age. Generally, there's a lot of correspondence between age and experience, but that's not necessarily going to be the case with every single person.
Yeah, I know some real old MFs that, are really immature.
So this writer says that she first became involved with little James's situation in 2018 when she met the father at a conference in Texas. She immediately felt a connection because she was just a boy. Hold on, because I thought this author was a male. Okay, it's just a very ugly male. Okay. I immediately felt a connection because I was just a boy when the seed of gender distress was planted in my young psyche by an adult family member who cross-dressed me and affirmed how good I looked. Now, in my 70s, I have the benefit of hindsight to know how badly this can play out, with years lost in transgender mixed master. I've written 2 articles to raise awareness about the situation. For those who need a little background, here's a recap. 6-year-old James is caught in a gender identity nightmare. Under his mom's care in Dallas, Texas, James obediently lives as a trans girl named Luna. But given the choice when he's with his dad, he's all boy, his sex from conception. Now that's interesting, but that's also not likely to be the entire truth. especially because all of the news articles I found about this suggest that the father is very much against it. Mm-hmm. And a 7-year-old kid, I wouldn't expect to have the courage to stand up to his father and say something like, well, look, this is what I'm going to do. If you want me to be part of your life, you have to just get on board with it.
Right.
Especially with the court system saying essentially now, well, you're going to spend time with this person whether you like it or not. The whole thing's a mess. We're going to get further into the mire, so don't go anywhere. This is Free Talk Live. Let us know what you think. 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Do you have a qualified plan, an IRA, 401k, 401(b), or some other type of investment account? Would you like to learn how the ultra-wealthy take their investment accounts and make them legally 100% tax-free? Have your money liquid and invest in literally anything you want to completely tax-free with the blessing of the IRS. And no, it's not a Roth. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Big tech news this week as Microsoft has unveiled its new generation Xbox One. Designers say the console's revolutionary new voice command feature makes it easier than ever for the Xbox to control its users. According to Microsoft spokesman Don Matrick, quote, "The Xbox One is programmed with a host of simple voice commands that you will respond to instantly. In addition to phrases like jump, shoot, and insert game disc, users will also understand more complicated instructions like download Call of Duty Update or come into the room and turn on Xbox."
The Xbox One tells us what games to play, what music to listen to, what shows to watch.
Watch TV.
And with that simple command, I'm watching live TV.
The new Xbox's high-tech sensors can also detect your expression and tell when you're looking away from the television.
Andy, look back at the TV.
Microsoft says the new Xbox can also command you using your smartphone or tablet. TechBuzz is raving, quote, "It's the immersive obedience experience we've been waiting for."
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Yeah!
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. So call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Captain Kickass.
And I want to tell you about local.bitcoin.com because Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform, and you can find it at local.bitcoin.com, which allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, bank deposit, Zelle, Google Pay, Venmo, remittances, or, even meeting in person using cash. There's no ID requirement to sign up for the site. And all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted, with the keys to those chats being deleted after 7 days. So finally, we have a global trading platform that respects your privacy. It's got a built-in escrow system built on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. It's really awesome. I love it. Of course, some sellers and buyers may require some additional KYC. I certainly do for bank transfers and things like that because I've been burned one too many times. But it's absolutely great. Even then, the rate of actual scammers on the site is extremely low, much lower than it is on that other site. So go check it out. Again, that's local.bitcoin.com. Now, we've been talking about this trans, maybe-ish kid in Texas.
Possibly. Did anyone ever get the kid's opinion on this? That's what I want to know.
That's my first question is, what does the kid, when separated from both parents, have to say about it?
I doubt that piece of information is going to be in either of these articles. And that's tragic, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you see it. I've seen it happen as a child of divorce, having been sifted through foster care and then eventually adopted by, some folks that were my aunt and uncle, essentially. I've seen the inside of the state and how it works when child's custody is involved, particularly divorcing parents, and how the parents try to use the kid to gain some sort of favor during the divorce proceedings, or get the house or the car or whatever it is that they're after. So the child just becomes a pawn for selfishness at that point. And I haven't read either of the articles that you've mentioned. I've seen them pop up on my feed. I have so many questions that I'm sure the article is going to answer some of them, but it just seems to me, my gut feeling just from the headlines that I've read, is that the kid's a pawn in a battle that was originally between the parents and has now escalated to different factions of the state, right? Different forms of the government.
Well, speaking of details, we've finally got Avens O'Brien calling. Avens, I think, is familiar with Free Talk Live. Anyway, I've met her at PortFest and things like that. I've seen her around on Facebook in the last few days talking about this exact case, and she knows quite a bit more about the father situation than I do. Avens, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey there.
Hey, thanks for calling. So I've seen you posting that the father actually appears to be kind of a you didn't say it, but a scumbag.
I said it.
It was interesting. So, I started seeing the news articles coming up from all these different websites talking about, this father trying to get custody, this custody battle, et cetera. And a court had said that he wouldn't have any say in his child's, gender transition, and then all this other stuff, right? But I was only seeing one side of this. Every news article I was reading, had the same bent, frankly. And I was curious, you don't see anything about the mother. You don't see anything about, what the inner details of this are. So I started kind of poking around, looking for more details and more information of, that didn't come from a site that that obviously, a lot of these websites seem to have a very clear opinion about, let's say, trans issues, and it seemed to kind of then translate to the way that they were looking at the rest of the situation. But so I found a Reddit thread where someone had linked to the court documents of the divorce in the first place, not necessarily the custodial agreements between the parents with the children, but even the cause of divorce and things like that. And is clear if you read through those court documents that the father there's an evidence trail of the father lying about a lot of other things. Now, I have no idea about the actual transgender kid or whether or not they are, But, the father lied about all these conditions of his life in order to get married in the first place. And the court actually upheld the cause of divorce being fraud and made the husband pay damages to the wife.
So this guy who was essentially found guilty wouldn't be the right terminology, but this guy who was upheld in the court system as being guilty of fraud is now making national headlines about this particular issue. And, one way or the other, the kid has been dragged into the entire ordeal as a pawn. But the divorce is final, correct?
Yeah, the divorce is totally final. And then this is a secondary thing about custodial issues and issues regarding medical decisions and, rights and responsibilities there. What I looked at, I've seen some of the court documentation from about the custodial stuff, but there's a whole lot of court documentation showing that this father clearly has not been honest in a bunch of other things that make me wonder why we would assume he's honest now. And I'm not trying to say he's guilty until proven or anything like that, but I don't know why I would trust the story from this person who has gone out and violated this child's privacy by publicizing their name. There's a whole bunch of things I feel very uncomfortable with in terms of the father and the way that he's behaving. And I don't know that I would trust the father's story. I have no idea about the mother. I have no idea what this kid's opinion is. And I hope that doctors and therapists and anybody else involved is trying to do the best thing for the child. But I couldn't in good conscience think that whatever the father.
Yeah, I'm with you on that at the very least. From what I've heard, not having looked into it myself, you dropped out there for a second, but not having looked into it myself, the father is definitely not someone whose word I would just want to trust on the issue. And from what I've heard, the mother is actually sending the kid through the proper legal channels for transitioning with the therapists and the counselors and all of that crap.
Exactly.
So it sounds like the father I don't want to put words in his mouth or, state what his perspective is, but it sounds like he's just upset about it and wants to stop it. Well, Avens, we appreciate the call. I definitely am glad to learn more about the father. But I would also like to learn more about the mother, because what I'm seeing is that she's kind of, the word I would use would be jerk. And the kid is just sort of trapped in the middle. And from what we've seen so far, no one is just asking the child what the child wants.
I don't really see how, any of this can be a decision made by either parent, much less the state. It's an individual decision.
It is. It's not a decision for onlookers or people standing on Twitter and Facebook to make either.
Right.
Unfortunately, they don't seem to get that. So many of these libertarians see a thing they don't like, and they want to use every avenue at their disposal to put a stop to it. 855-450-3733. What's your opinion on it? Again, that's 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app. Divvy is crypto made easy. Anyone can use Divvy to securely and seamlessly spend, earn, store, or exchange digital money, the US dollar, and euros. Divvy is fast. Transactions happen in seconds with fewer fees. While other altcoins are languishing, the Divvy price has risen substantially against BTC. Now's the time to make a switch to Divvy or make your start with cryptocurrency with Divvy. Visit DivvyProject.org. Divvy is crypto made easy. Plus one-click masternodes. DivvyProject.org. Again, DivvyProject.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees!
What's the problem, officer?
sir!
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Baghdadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and the captain.
And I want to tell you about the Edge wallet, because it's the mobile wallet that I use for storing my cryptocurrency. It's available for both iOS and Android for those people out there who don't know how to use technology and use iOS. You can buy, sell, trade, and securely hold cryptocurrencies. It's user controlled. You always have your own money. You control the private keys when you use the Edge wallet. That's true of a lot of mobile wallets, but the awesome thing about the Edge wallet is that you can get rid of those ridiculous 24-word recovery passphrases. They are the bane of my existence. I have lost so much cryptocurrency. Not really, but I've lost more cryptocurrency than anyone should have, because I never remember which one of these idiotic phrases has what I need in it. So be sure to check it out. It's got support for Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and many others. They've been going since 2014, so they've been around for a while.
Used my Edge wallet to buy dinner on Sunday.
Nice. Where did you eat at?
It was the social Sunday gathering over at
Local Burger. Yeah, it's great. So again, go check it out. It's edge.app if you would like to visit their website and learn more about it. So we've been talking about this kid in Texas, and there's this article here from the Federalist that takes exactly the approach you would expect the Federalist to take. Evidently, this guy claims that he's a personal friend of the family to some degree, and he's met all of these people personally. There's a lot of colloquialism. That's not the right word I'm looking for, but there's a lot of third-hand information being passed to us here that's all dependent on this guy, the writer at the Federalist, being both A, honest, B, not biased, and C, actually honest.
I don't think you're going to get any of that.
No.
Not biased. I mean, there is nowhere that is not biased.
There isn't. And as Avis was saying when she was on the phone with us earlier, it does come down to that there are two types of articles being written about this entire thing. And they just seem to latch onto whatever facts or evidence they find interesting that could be used.
What are the two varieties? I get one is like, oh, the father is fighting for his rights.
Yes.
Right? I get that. So what's the opposing perspective?
Well, it's a bit more insidious than that. From what I've seen, one perspective is the father's trying to stop the LGBTQ agenda from being forced onto his child, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
and
that's the narrative.
Yeah. And the other side is this father's trying to prevent his child from transitioning, and that's what the child wants.
But is it what the child wants?
Well, we don't know, because if anybody has indeed bothered to sit down with the child and ask them, you would think that would be a prerequisite to this.
Should be the first thing.
It hasn't made its way into the news circulation.
Yeah, only a journalist would ask that kind of question, and journalism is dead.
So according to this author, he took the opportunity to jump in the car with Younger, that would be the father, as he drove across town to pick up the two boys from his ex-wife's house. As they pulled up, the front door opened, and the two young boys came flying out. James was dressed as a boy, like his brother. Now, James is the one that may or may not want to transition, but he's the one that all of this is fixed around. Into the back seat they went, saying hi to their dad and to me before they started talking about Ninja Turtles and other things they had done. I no longer believe anything this writer has to say.
Because he mentioned Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, Ninja Turtles. That hasn't been popular in a decade. And you want me to believe that this kid 2 years ago was talking about Ninja Turtles? Maybe Pokemon Go.
No, there is kind of this I don't know. Ninja Turtles are still kind of popular.
Well, I'm not saying they're unpopular, but I don't see them. Okay, I don't know how I would want to characterize what I'm trying to say, but I don't see it as being at the forefront of two 7-year-olds' conversation. Pokemon Go, maybe? And even Pokemon Go would be a bit outdated.
I think the writer's trying to paint a picture and failing.
Yeah. Not one smidgen of gender dysphoria or girl talk appeared during the drive or the subsequent playtime and dinner. Well, yeah, because that's not the kind of thing kids talk about. I mean, he was more accurate the first time. They're more likely to talk about Ninja Turtles than they are gender dysphoria. This week, I asked the father how his sons were doing. Younger says that James's fraternal twin brother is confused and tells everyone he wants to live with his dad. This is according to the father, by the way. As to James, on a recent visitation time with his father, James dressed himself as a classy young man with creased pants and a necktie all day and chose to stay dressed that way to go back to his mother's. It seemed to be a powerful, nonverbal way for James to defy his mother's wishes. God, I love it.
I mean, to me, if the non-aggression principle applies here, it's nobody's decision except the individual's. I don't know when an individual, is, of a state of mind to, say, hey, this is what I want to do and what I'm going to do. You can't put an age on it because people mature at different rates. So I don't know the answer there. What I do know is that it's nobody else's decision. Clearly, right? It's only the decision of the individual, and that's all that should matter to anybody.
What's interesting about this and what is getting lost in it is that the mother isn't trying to get surgery for the child. They're not trying to undergo sexual reassignment surgery or anything like that. She's not even trying to put him on estrogen. She's just trying to put him on puberty blockers. He's 7. He's got 5 years before he's going through puberty anyway, on average. But hey, okay, sure. If the kid wants to transition, it will make it easier to have been on these puberty blockers and kept them from having any sort of effect on his body through the last several years. But regardless, what the mother is wanting to do is 100% reversible and undoable, especially at that age. But, it's a difficult issue. Am I willing to say that a 12-year-old who wants to transition should be allowed to? I would say if the 12-year-old genuinely wants to, I don't know by what criteria you would determine whether or not it was genuine or whether or not it was a result of the very real leftist crap being peddled on them within the education apparatus. I don't know.
Within the school system or by his or her mother.
Yeah. If it's genuine, I'm on board with it. I'm not going to attempt to make an assessment about whether or not it's genuine. I will leave that to the doctors, to the therapists, the people who are qualified to do that sort of thing.
I'm sure not qualified.
I know I'm not.
No, but the idea that, they should have to wait until they're adults, that's the one that really bothers me, because that's like saying, no, you can't transition. Yeah. The age of 15, 3 years into puberty, it's almost going to be too late then. But you're talking 18 years old after their body is already fully developed. It's just not going to happen. Minimal changes, sure. But you're robbing these people of the body that they want to have by forcing them to undergo this natural puberty, because in some weird warped way, you've come up with the idea that natural puberty, according to biology and natural hormones produced by the body, is somehow superior to puberty orchestrated by external hormones. The body's going to change in any event. So why not let it change in the way that person wants it to evolve? And even if they change their mind later, they're not really in any worse a position than they would be if they went through puberty as a male and decided to transition as a female when they were 18. Either way, they're going to regret how their puberty went. And you're not going to find many 18-year-olds who don't regret how their puberty went one way or the other, right?
Don't we all? Don't we all?
I had some good times, but some bad times.
So Younger said that at the trial, that's the father, he was painted as paranoid and in need of several years of psychotherapy because he doesn't believe his young son wants to be a girl. But many experts agree there's no link to this statement because, of course, why would there be a link to these experts?
Many of them.
But many experts agree that transgendering young children is hazardous. I don't know if that's true or not.
That's the first I've heard of it.
I'm sure it's true, but that's because a lot of people end up transitioning who honestly shouldn't. 855-450-3733.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, so call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
And as promised earlier, we're going to go to another side of this particular issue because we sort of just been beaten, the issue has been beaten to death. But here is a headline that I could not resist. How the right weaponized a 7-year-old trans child.
Weaponized?
Oh.
Now, see, I feel like we were fair in the beginning of this. We started with the conservative article, and we pointed out the problems with it. So here we have the exact opposite one that we were talking about, where, oh, no, now you just have this angry redneck Texan trying to oppress a 7-year-old trans kid, as the headline. It's going to be great. After an outcry from conservatives, a judge just ruled Luna Younger will have to split her time between parents, one who believes she's a girl and one who believes she's a boy. Already, I like this article, and the contrast between the two fascinates me because the other article routinely called this kid James and he. This one clearly is going to routinely call the kid Luna and she. It's fascinating how this partisanism works. A transgender Texan child will live in joint custody with her two divorced parents, one who believes she's a girl and one who believes she's a boy, a judge ruled Thursday, and they rewrote because what is an editor? On its face, Thursday's court ruling between Texan exes, that's a mouthful, Jeffrey Younger and Anne Georgioulis is the last step in a child custody battle. But the fight, I don't know why they did that, over one of their children has made the case a rallying point for conservatives. And Thursday's decision comes after a slew of prominent politicians waded into the case and picked sides. That's equally true of politicians and writers on the left, though. So the mother, who was awarded sole custody earlier this month, says her 7-year-old daughter Luna is transgender. Younger, see, that's another interesting thing. I think in order to accurately convey that in any meaningful way, you would have to say that her 7-year-old son is transgender, because otherwise you're giving the impression of a female to male person and not male to female.
Well, I'm a little confused because I thought you said at the top of the article that joint custody had been instituted by a judge, but then I think
Yes.
you also just said that the mother was awarded sole custody. So
Well, she was awarded sole custody, but then it was appealed and overruled, and joint custody was granted instead.
okay, all right, thank you.
Although the Thursday ruling only dictated who got custody and a say in the child's medical decisions, it's widely seen as a win for conservative media and politicians who have framed the case as a debate over how or if children can come out as transgender. Luna was assigned male at birth. Now, do either of you know anything about the Daily Beast? I thought they were fairly right-wing.
The Daily Beast is fairly left-wing.
Okay, I'm getting that impression. Luna was assigned male at birth, but began indicating an interest in identifying as a girl when she was as young as 3, her father claims. The plot thickens.
Wait, her father said that?
They specifically state that the father was the one who made that claim. 3 mental health professionals who evaluated Luna diagnosed her with gender dysphoria, a condition in which a person's assigned sex at birth does not match their gender identity. In a 2018 ruling, a judge ordered both parents to treat Luna in a manner consistent with how she had previously identified in school, where she went by Luna and identified as a girl. For this reason, the Daily Beast is referring to Luna with she, her pronouns, even though she is identified otherwise in other media. I love how they felt the need to throw that in there, as though it somehow wasn't obvious.
I just feel so sorry for this
we've
kid.
got to make this point crystal clear to everybody.
Yeah, Captain, you're right. This kid's going to be, we talked about this briefly during one of the breaks. This kid's going to be a mess.
Yeah, I mean, instant infamy, right? I mean, I'm sure that the kid's already got friends that have social media or, you know, some sort
Google.
of a device with, you know, the internet on it, right?
Yeah.
You know, I would venture to guess this kid is already, quote, internet famous, unquote, you know, within his, you know, child social circle, so to speak. It's just not going to end well.
No. In marriage annulment proceedings, a court awarded the mother with more than $45,000 in damages for a truck Younger fraudulently purchased in his name through her company. The mother also accused the father of fabricating his background before they married. We discussed all of this earlier, so I'm going to move forward. Basically, he claimed that he had served in Iraq as a Marine, had made 6-figure incomes for decades working for Fortune 500 companies. In fact, he had been married twice, did not have a college degree, was briefly a Marine before we moved, and only earned 6 figures once in 2000. So, I mean, he stretched the truth a bit, but no more than I would expect of anyone on Tinder or Grindr or OkCupid.
Yeah, he stretched it quite a bit.
I don't know, like, I'm struggling for words here because regardless if you're a parent, whether you're a decent and upstanding person or you're a friggin' jerk, like, you don't have the right to tell another human being what they can and cannot do. I mean, if you don't recognize that human beings own themselves, then you have something fundamentally wrong with yourself.
See, coming back to the age thing, again, I don't like using age as any sort of metric, but the child at, 3 years old is certainly not capable of making informed decisions on things.
They just don't have the experience at that age, and that's part of what being a parent is all about. Is knowing what the consequences of something might be and helping your child navigate these sorts of life decisions.
Right, but you are not, the owner of that person, right? Children, I'll bring this up sometimes. Children,
I agree entirely, but I know that most of America disagrees.
Right. Children are the last minority to sort of have their rights recognized, as a social movement. They have none. Right?
No, amen to that.
None.
Yeah.
And so, now it's just about...
I mean, their rights aren't only not recognized, that they're trampled and destroyed. You have to go to this place 8 hours a day, and if you act up, you're going to be sent before this tyrant who is judge, jury, and executioner.
Mm. And you know damn well that both of the parents at some point have coached the kid on what to say and what not to say. I've had that happen myself. I used to counsel people, kids, particularly teenagers, who would go through divorces, and of course their parents coach them on what to say and not to say, specifically to people of authority, the state, right? Whether it's social workers, a judge, the cops, whatever, any of that kind of thing. So getting to the heart of the matter is going to be really difficult for really anybody, and it's going to be this kid that's going to have to work it all out.
Yeah, that's sad, but that's going to be the case. So Luna was diagnosed with gender dysphoria, the Texan reported, and one of the therapists advised the mother on gender affirmation practices, but they would not medically intervene with Luna, but would allow her to dress and otherwise identify as a girl. She went by Luna in school, where she presents as female, according to court records. This kind of non-medical transition is typical for children. Well, it's typical for everyone. That's how the first stages of transition always are at whatever age.
Isn't that how everyone starts?
Yeah, said Casey Pick, Senior Fellow for Advocacy and Government Affairs for the Trevor Project, a crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ young people. So he is not really worth listening to on this particular subject, but for children this age experiencing gender dysphoria, parents typically work together with mental health professionals to facilitate a social transition, by far the hardest aspect of transitioning post-puberty, which can include things like a change in hairstyle or clothing, use of a different name or pronouns, and being socially affirmed in their gender identity. But the father insisted Luna was not transgender and continued to refer to her as James. He launched a website called Save James, where he argued that the mother had fabricated Luna's gender identity. The site currently solicits donations and accuses the mother of abusing their child. The mother, evidently, they felt the need to point out, previously accused the father of domestic violence. Anyway, the father uploaded videos of Luna in boys' clothes and stated that the child presented as a boy while visiting Younger's house. Yes, and I would imagine whether the child, assuming that the child is legitimately transgender, dude, you put all fives. Your kid is not stupid. They're going to pick up on the fact that you do not approve of this.
Right.
What do you expect a 7-year-old child to do? All that 7-year-old child wants is your freaking love and approval. And from their perspective, you seem to be withholding that based on how they dress and how they present themselves.
Poor parenting.
Anyway, we're going to move on because evidently the Bang Bros want to purchase the door to a stadium, and you will never guess what they want to have emblazoned permanently, or not permanently, semi-permanently, over that door. More on that, 855-450-3733.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,504, silver at $18.04, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,717. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Moscow is dismissing President Trump's celebratory statements on the U.S. Special Forces raid, which allegedly killed Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, as premature propaganda. Detailing some of the dismissive statements to come out of Russia, hours following the major White House announcement of a terror leader's death, or what's become the Trump administration's own bin Laden moment, the Daily Beast cites Russian TV state correspondent in the United States, Denis Davidoff, as saying, quote, Trump has elections coming up in a year, and the announcement of al-Baghdadi's liquidation will add some points for the commander-in-chief, end quote. And more provocative is that the Kremlin has even rejected the rare praise that Trump personally heaped upon its military for its cooperation in the killing. Trump said in his Sunday morning victory speech, the Russians were very cooperative. They were really good. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Last Wednesday, U.S. Attorney General William Barr issued a memorandum to all U.S. attorneys, law enforcement agencies, and top-ranking Justice Department officials, announcing the imminent implementation of a new national disruption and early engagement program aimed at detecting potential mass shooters before they commit any crime. According to the Mind Unleash, citing the memorandum, Barr has directed the Department of Justice and the FBI to lead an effort to refine the ability to identify, assess, and engage potential mass shooters before they strike. Perhaps the most jarring aspect of the memorandum is Barr's frank admission that many of the early engagement tactics that the new program would utilize were born of the posture adopted with respect to terrorist threats. In other words, the foundation for many of the policies utilized following the post-9/11 war on terror are also the foundation for the early engagement tactics that Barr seeks to use to identify potential criminals as part of the new policy. Chilean President Sebastián Piñera on Saturday said he would reshuffle his cabinet after over 1 million Chileans poured into city streets across the country on Friday to demand structural reforms to the country's government and economic system. The move by Piñera came as the protest movement mobilized people in the capital of Santiago and beyond. Piñera made his announcement late Saturday morning. The timeline and plan for the replacement of ministers remains unclear. On Saturday, Reuters reported that a document obtained by the news agency suggested the president was considering replacing the heads of at least 9 ministries, including the ministries of Interior, Defense, Economy, Transportation, and Environment. Chilean Senator Felipe Cast on Twitter credited the Friday protests with prompting the decision. The protests began October 15th after high school students occupied subway stations in Santiago to protest fare hikes. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. In light of reports this week of a Russian crime ring stealing 1.2 billion username and password combinations from internet users, experts from top security firms across the country reportedly advised Americans to refrain from clicking on anything at all. The nation's top security specialists warned individuals to actively avoid any scrolling or swiping on the internet, and further urged Americans, as an added precaution, to steer clear of buttons, keyboards, and computer screens altogether. In other news, an employer botches a job interview. A date's flaws are coming at a woman faster than she can rationalize them, and a going out of business sign thanks a neighborhood for 3 months of no support whatsoever. Whether or not this video news summary eased the pain of your existence, you can now take solace in the fact that you're a few minutes closer to departing this meaningless world. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and the captain.
And as promised, before we went out, we have an interesting story here about a stadium. Now, you know how stadiums like to, or how large corporations like to have their names plastered on stadiums. You have like the Busch Stadium, the Miller Lite Stadium, and things like that. Well, it seems that Bang Bros wants to get in on this.
It's true. This just passed my feed yesterday, and the article's not as fresh as it could be, but nonetheless, it appealed to my 12-year-old sense of humor. And so this is from CNET.com. Bang Bros porn site bids $10 million on naming rights for Miami Stadium. The Miami Heat could play their next game from the Bang Bros Center.
Oh, man. Every meme that I've ever seen just flew through my head instantly.
It's hilarious.
I'm picturing the little powdered sugar donut surrounded by 5 chocolate donuts over here. It's great.
A little background. The American Airlines Arena, a.k.a. the AAA, has been the home of the Miami Heat since its construction in 1999. The times are changing, though, and American Airlines announced last year that it was no longer looking to renew its sponsorship of the venue. A bidding war has begun as companies jostle to become synonymous with the arena advertising, right? If things go a certain online porn site's way, the Heat could soon be playing basketball games in the Bang Bros Center. Bang Bros,
I love everything about this.
A Miami-based porn site, said it has bid $10 million for 10 years of naming rights. The company said via tweet that it wishes to call the venue Bang Bros Center or BBC. You may need to Urban Dictionary what that acronym means, because the company definitely isn't alluding to the British Broadcasting Corporation.
I feel like anyone over 15 probably knows what that means.
Maybe not everyone.
It goes on to say, Bang Bros tweet is here, and the company has also created a dedicated site for the center bid. Amazingly, both the links are safe for work. It's got a little caption of this is Sean Waltman. It says, Monday Night Raw coming to you live from the Bang Bros Center has a distinct ring to it.
Now, isn't that a wrestling thing, Monday Night Raw? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Monday Night Raw at the Bang Bros Center. I had to crack up when I read that. I was laughing so hard.
That is amazing.
Yeah, as fun and traumatizing as it would be, it's unlikely that the Bang Bros Center will become a reality. Cleveland Superlative Group, who's handling the deal, told the Miami Herald last year that the naming rights are worth about triple of the $2 million that the American Airlines paid. So Bang Bros $1 million a year for a decade won't cut the mustard. Plus, it's a porn site.
Are they actually, like, would they actually tell them no if they did have the money simply because they're a porn site?
I would like to find out.
Would they tell them no if they were actually the high bidder? That's my question.
Right. I liken this to sort of the thing that happened here in Keene with the Keene Great restaurant. Right. So it's like, yeah, it's a spin on something that's pretty common, but like it has this sort of dichotomy to it, an alternate connotation. And I think it would be fun.
I would love to see it. I'm not a fan of sports in general, but I mean, if we're going to have a sports stadium, yeah, let it be the Bang Bros Center.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
definitely.
I didn't know they were a porn site. I thought they were like porn manufacturers.
I
mean, I guess they could be both.
Well, yeah, they make their own porn.
Well, I'm aware of that.
Okay.
But I didn't know that they were a distributor of said porn.
Well, apparently they have enough cash to throw around to try and name the
Good for them.
the Miami Stadium after their company.
I would expect Pornhub to do something like this because they do weird stuff, right? Like planting trees for every, 5,000 videos watched or something like that?
Yeah. Well, and off topic, but Pornhub has recently been getting more traffic by hosting bootleg videos that aren't even porn. So like, this new movie that's not coming out until 3 weeks from now, but it was released in India a week ago, right? Somebody will get a bootleg copy of it and upload it to Pornhub for, distribution of the bootleg for people who want to see it early and downloaders, that kind of a thing.
Good Lord, people just use the Pirate Bay.
Well, right, but apparently you don't need to install any software to go to Pornhub. You don't need to, have a VPN. You can just go click play and watch the bootleg movie, right? So they're using it like you would think YouTube would be used if YouTube, weren't a bunch of douchebags.
Right. That's interesting. I used to do a show called Aria Uncensored that I did topless, and Twitch took great issue with that. They ultimately suspended the LRN channel for like 3 days.
Oh, how nice of them.
Yeah. My initial response was, okay, well, we're just going to stream the show to Pornhub then. Never actually went through with it because the show ended like one episode after that. But it seems like Pornhub would be a great place for some sort of actual genuine free speech show to take root and to exist, because Pornhub, there is more than porn there. There is also porn there, but there is more than porn. So I would love for them to purchase a stadium, maybe the one used by the Patriots down there in Boston, whatever it's called right now.
The Pornhub Stadium, yeah.
I'm certainly not opposed to it, and I'm happy that we live in a society now where we do have these sorts of generally seen to be shady companies, largely thanks to millennials and millennial culture being just totally totally okay with this sort of thing, coming out and making bids to have stadiums named after them.
The thing is, these are not shady companies. There's nothing shady about them. What's shady is that a certain segment of the population thinks porn is bad.
Yeah, and that all sex work is bad.
Yeah, it's a stigma that's, come about from, thousands of years of religion and statism.
Yeah, both of which, statism and religion are so closely tied, I don't even know if I can separate them mentally anymore. I look at things the state does with its fancy robes for the judges and its little idols and rituals. Oh, you have to stand and put your hand on the center of your chest, or I don't remember now because I haven't done the Pledge of Allegiance since I was like 5 years old.
Right.
But I mean, talking about forcing kids, as we were earlier, to undergo gender transition, what about forcing kids to undergo psychological conditioning and brainwash orchestrated by the state?
Yeah, for 12 years of their life.
Yeah.
Right, mandatory.
It's the same thing.
Well, I would say it's significantly worse because it's the state that's used to sort of oppress everybody else who exists.
You know what's surprising about that? I actually read didn't read the story, so I don't know if there was one, but headline from the Babylon Bee said, "Politics is the world's fastest growing religion."
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it has many parallels, and in fact, I was brought up in a religious household. I consider myself an atheist or a non-theist, however you want to put that. However, I became that before I became anarchist. But I became anarchist for the exact same reasons. Right, because it's it's logically inconsistent. It's not based in principle. It's based in brainwashing and conformity, and those aren't things that I'm willing to live my life by.
I was an anarchist first, but that was largely because my first encounters with the state were like, police officers ripping me out of my mother's arms while she cried and things like that. And that leaves an impression, that
not a good one.
Here you have this person whose entire existence is centered around you and keeping you the hell alive. Mm-hmm. And then you have this other entity that has the power to tell them, no, we're going to do this whether you like it or not. And from that moment on, it's just been sort of anti-authoritarianism. Yeah. Screw you people. Who do you think you are? What do you think gives you the right to do this sort of thing to anyone? But, I was stopped here in Keene recently by one of the homeless dudes wandering around who asked me if I was an anarchist. I said yes. He mistook the pentagram on my purse for an anarchy symbol. And he ended up saying, well, I just don't believe in anarchy because then we'd have looters and all of this. Well, we have looters now, dude. They're called the police. If they pull you over and you've got $10,000 in cash in your car, guess what? They're looting it.
It's just institutionalized looting.
Yeah. It could only improve. 855-450-3733.
With Fortune DNA, you can invest in anything you want to. 100% tax-free for you and your heirs. And use your money before you're 59 and a half without ever losing your principal. All with the blessing of the IRS. Avoid the volatility of the market. Put certainty back into your investing future and keep full access to your money with Fortune DNA. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, so you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind using the toll-free number 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Captain Kickass.
And would you like to learn how the ultra-wealthy take their retirement accounts and make them legally 100% tax-free? Have your money liquid and invest in literally anything you want, completely tax-free with the blessing of the IRS. And no, it is not a Roth. Visit dna.freetalklive.com to learn more and watch the pre-recorded webinar. It's pre-recorded now. It actually was done live. We do, evidently, there's a new webinar generally every 3 weeks, and the most recent one was with Fortune DNA. And they want to help you invest in whatever you want, 100% tax-free for you and your heirs, and use your money before you're 59 and a half without ever losing your principal. Avoid market volatility, put certainty back into your investing future, and keep full access to your money with Fortune DNA. Go check it all out. It's really cool. You can find it at dna.freetalklive.com.
Certainly love the tax-free bit.
Oh, absolutely. That is one of the best parts about cryptocurrency, I would suggest, is the whole inability of the state to tax it. So, homeless people. We ended up mentioning one of those just a moment ago because I did, in fact, encounter one. And my purse has a rather large pentagram on it that I realize if you're a homeless schizophrenic, it might look like an anarchy symbol.
Sure.
Not to besmirch the dude, but it was very quickly evident in our conversations that he was not all mentally there. And this is quite common. It's surprisingly common here in Keene how many homeless people there are.
I was surprised, actually, having moved here most recently from Seattle, Washington, where, there's homeless camps everywhere, tents. They install, little spikes on the ground underneath the bridges to prevent people from sleeping under them, that kind of a thing. And so I figured,
God, that's awful.
I'll come to Keene and, and then there is a homeless population here. I mean, it's a much reduced one compared to Seattle, Washington, but I was surprised at that there is even any, and then that there's almost a community, really.
Yeah. Well, before we get back into that, let's get back to the phones. We got Vaginatarian calling via our Discord line, which you can find at discord.freetalklive.com. Vaginatarian, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey guys, good night. I'm just calling about the story from Texas earlier that you were talking about with the child and the custody case.
Right.
So I understand, Aria, obviously you would have a very personal
your volume
opinion
is
about
like plummeting. You came in very strong, but then your volume seemed to have just kind of decreased. I actually turned you up to try to mitigate it, but it didn't really seem to matter.
How am I now?
Much better.
Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, I get why you're going to have a very strong opinion about it. I wanted to bring up 2 points. One, that when it comes to the issue of a child transitioning, the state getting involved is extremely convoluted, and I'm very anti the state getting involved in deciding how the parent should make that decision about their child.
Well, I almost take that as a given. Now, okay, the state shouldn't be involved. Okay, I mean, but that's like square one. I mean, it's such a square one, I don't ever think to state it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care what the issue is, the state shouldn't be involved.
Amen.
No, but I do think leeway is sort of being given in this specific scenario of, the benefit to one parent was given over the other because of the way the courts were treating it. And I, it's one of those things where you can't have like a blanket, the state should be involved just because it deals with this issue, but not that saying it's happening in the States, but Canada has been doing a lot of stuff like that lately with their human rights tribunal has been taking kids away from their parents without giving them the due process, so to speak, that we're even having in the States right now. But my second point that I would make is just because science has progressed where children now have the ability to transition and maybe they are expressing this, it does not mean that there should be a clear-cut blanket approval of it by the society and by the state and even by the parents. It should be up to the individual family to make this decision together. And I don't think there's like an arbitrary age where the child becomes old enough that they're allowed to make that decision for themselves. And I know it gets murky when you talk about, well, what constitutes adulthood for the child and the ability to make this decision. But I don't think you can just throw away a parent's input into this matter, which I think is what's been happening with a lot of these cases. Is the child says, I identify as a woman or I identify as a man, and then the state is so nervous about how to handle this, or the parents are nervous about how to handle this, that they just go, okay, well, we're just going to go through with it, not even putting forth time and effort into the child.
Well, you're not wrong. It is a bit of a problem, and I've seen it in the past as well, where therapists, especially the ones at schools that are, brought in, specifically hired to address this sort of thing, it's career suicide to be presented with a kid telling you they want to transition and for the therapist to respond, no, I don't think that's right for you.
Yeah, therapists are scared to do that. And many have lost their jobs by saying that I don't think it's right for this child. And there's been cases where a child has wanted to transition and then decided not to, grown up and felt that they were homosexual and that was really the feelings that they were conflicted with as a youth. So it's just, there's no like one stamp fits all when this happens.
No, certainly not. But to go back to the core of this whole thing, what does it matter? I mean, a kid is going to make mistakes. They're going to do things that they later regret. And so is a preteen, so is a teen, so is an adult. Why is it that with this one possible thing they may regret, people get up in arms like, no, your parents have to make this decision for you. You can't choose whether or not you want to get this tattoo, whether or not you want to have this drink, whether or not you want to be friends with this person, whether or not you want to have this girlfriend or listen to this style of music or dress this way. You can make all those decisions.
I see where you're coming from, but I think it is much, much bigger than a child. Yeah, you're still permanently altering your body like a tattoo, but you're bringing upon yourself so much more than just a physiological transformation, because society hasn't quite caught up with like, we're all okay with trans and this, or even, how the kid could play in sports as a child, and I called in a couple weeks ago, like, how are trans going to integrate into the military and live in open bay barracks when they still
trans people had no issue integrating into the military until Donald Trump made it an issue.
No. Wait,
Yes.
That's not true. Oh, I'm sorry. You're the expert.
I'm going to bet here that I'm more knowledgeable about trans people in the military than you are. Yes.
Okay. Regardless, it's not that clear cut and it wasn't transitioning well. And to get back to my original point, calm it down. It's not just your body is changing and you take hormones and then you've altered yourself, like you went and got a big back piece tattoo. You're going to encounter stuff every single day in your life that is going to be difficult. You're asking for your child
That's
to
true
be
for everyone.
facing a difficult life. Yeah, sure. But that's why these parents are getting up in arms, is they don't want that for their child. They don't want a life of difficulty, and they want to have the best possible future for their child. They don't want jobs taken away because of this. They don't want opportunities taken away when their child may not want it.
Vaginatarian, will you sit with us for a few more minutes? I want to carry on this conversation with you a bit further.
All right.
Perfect. All right, we'll be back with more of this. 855-450-3733.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite
is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000. 859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
If you're looking for work, there's a piece of paper more important than your resume. It's the cover letter attached if you're snail mailing, or the email to which you attach your resume. Make it 4 short paragraphs. Paragraph 1, say that you're applying for work. The person you're sending to gets a ton of mail about all sorts of things. If you have a password, that's your first sentence. Tom Nelson tells me you and I should meet. Paragraph 2, what you do and how that relates to the opening. Be as specific as possible. Paragraph 3, why you want this particular job. I'm originally from Boston, so I know the market well. I have family and friends in the area, so this would be a homecoming for me. Paragraph 4, unless the job posting stipulates no calls, and I will call you to follow up. Thank you in advance for your time. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Captain Kickass.
And we had a message a few minutes ago on twitch.lrn.fm where somebody asked, what do we think of the death of Big Daddy? To which we all went, Who? One after the other.
Who is Big Daddy?
He then corrects it with the Baghdadi, right?
What?
Baghdadi, the ISIS terrorist guy.
Oh,
yeah.
that guy.
Oh, I see.
Yes, that's it's spelled like Baghdad, the city, but with an I at the end. So I totally understand the confusion on that. But that's what he was referring to.
So is he actually dead this time?
Time will tell, maybe-ish.
So I just literally during the break, read a headline that said they buried him at sea, same as Osama bin Laden.
Huh? Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that really just, the government saying that it stopped a thing that it created?
But,
Yeah, pretty much. That too.
Where would you like to be in late February? How about Anarcho-Polka with Ron Paul, John McAfee, Sherry Peel Jackson, Doug Casey, Rick Ross, Del Bigtree? Oh, good God, that's a long list of names. A lot of big popular people. You probably heard it before, including Jeffrey Tucker and the hosts of Free Talk Live. Anarcho-Polka is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state and the central banks. The unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Enjoy 4 days of the experience, February 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchopolco.com for a 10% off with promo code FTL. Something was scratched out there and it really threw me off trying to make a complete sentence out of it. That's Anarchopolco, promo code FTL. Definitely something worth checking out if you like festivals and things like that. Plus, it's in Mexico in the middle of February. Who wants to be in New Hampshire in February?
It's a nice respite.
Well, let's get back to the phones. We've still got Vaginatarian with us, and we're having a discussion about the trans, maybe. Based on what I've seen and read tonight, I'm going to say that the kid is trans and that the father just does not approve of it. I could be wrong, but that's definitely the impression that I'm getting. So we've been talking about this trans kid in Texas, right?
And I just wanted to say that, like, the parent's job in this situation, would be to help educate the child. Bring them experts, bring them literature, that type of a thing, instead of imposing their will, what they would have done, because it's their kid, what they want for it. As a parent, you actually, you feel that way, but you don't actually have the right to impose your will on that child. You're just supposed to be a guide. That's it.
I agree entirely. So, Vaginatarian, you and I were having a bit of a discussion about this and the possible consequences of a person transitioning from an early age. Now, there's a lot to be said about people transitioning and then coming to regret it after puberty, after they're all grown up and things like that. You were talking about the guy who didn't transition, or maybe female, I don't remember which, but who as an adult looked back and was like, hey, yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that because I just turned out to be gay. Or something to that effect. I don't remember exactly what you said.
Yeah, there's several statistics. I don't have any pulled up, unfortunately, that by and large, most kids who identify as gender dysphoric, if they don't go through the transition, there's a percentage that's higher of a likelihood that they are homosexual when they grow up to be an adult. And there's Dr. Deborah So's like the leading researcher on this topic. She's big in the trans activist community, and she's a big advocate for what you said of education, because she thinks it needs to be an individual based, situation where not every child should get the stamp of going to, transition, and psychologists losing their jobs and everything that we discussed in the last segment of why it's so hard for parents, teachers, and doctors in fields to come out and say maybe you shouldn't transition, because the norm seems to be like, yes, okay, that's what you're saying, then your choice is correct.
Well, in my experience with therapists is that they're generally not good at their jobs. They want to put you into one particular mold or the other and disregard you as a human being. Now, if there are some therapists out there who are not like that and who would say to a person, no, I don't think this is right for you based on what I know you of as an individual, that would be fantastic. But that would also be an extremely low ratio in my experience of therapists. Most of them say crap like, oh, yes, well, after you transition, you will begin to actually feel like a woman. I've got lots of trans friends, and they've all reiterated the same basic sentiment to me, that a therapist said something to them along those lines, completely glossing over the fact that that person, that individual, has no idea what it feels like to be a woman or a white person or a man or anything. All they know is what it feels like to be themselves. So they essentially become peddlers of just crap and lies saying that, oh, yes, if you do this, you will feel a certain way. And that's not true, because that individual is always going to feel however they feel. And chasing after that red herring of, oh, that's what I have to do to change how I feel. That's what I have to do to feel like a woman. It's not doing anyone any favors, and rubber stamping it to allow these people to transition when they say things like that, or when the therapist says something to them like that, is what is causing all of the people who come to regret it, because their feelings obviously don't change. They continue just feeling like them.
That could be a factor, but people's feelings definitely change. And I would be hesitant to say that all therapists aren't doing their jobs and aren't competent because of that specific example that you gave. Because I'm sure people are going to therapists and getting the help they need. And if they were incompetent, then they wouldn't be going to that therapist, or that therapist would be in business anymore. So I'd be hesitant to use that example in this argument to sort of answer that question. And
But you conceded the point already that therapists are afraid. Let me state the point that you ceded. You ceded the point already that therapists are afraid to go against the social grain for the fear of losing their jobs. So you've already conceded that they're going to give bad advice to people.
They could be giving bad advice, and there is a trend of them giving bad advice, and that's why when it comes to discussing transgender, I think it's fair to be open and to question everything, because there are no clear answers yet. And one experience of a transgender is not going to answer the experience of everybody else, what therapists should or should not do, or what children should or should not do. Like the general accepted rules in society that we might understand about other issues are not there yet for this topic. We just haven't figured it all out.
Well, what if they were? And
yet.
I was just like, well, screw the rules. Let the individual do what they want.
That's sort of the idea, but we have that let the individual do what they want in many, many other arenas, but we don't have that clear cut yet with transgender children and individuals.
You're speaking more about how trans people might integrate into society as a whole?
Especially eventually.
Well, we can't know the answer to that until trans people are allowed to transition and exist as trans people.
Yes, but now it's sort of like, how do we figure out going about doing that? Do we do what we're doing?
But what is there to figure out, and who is this we?
Oh, collectively.
Why does the collective have any say in this at all?
Right, yeah. Why does anybody except the individual have any say?
I don't mean like I'm going to go over and tell everybody what to do. I am talking philosophically of how best to discuss this issue and find ways through muck like what the poor kid in Texas is going through. Because on top of what he or she is going through in their transition identity, which we don't yet know based on the news articles, if the child truly identifies as a woman, he or she is now going through a divorce on top of it in a vicious custody battle.
Well, the divorce is over, according to the story, and the custody battle largely is. Vaginatarian, thank you so much for the call. It was certainly interesting, and I do like hearing other people's perspectives. It's a valid question about how trans people are integrating into society. I don't know. Sports is the most glaring example.
Hey guys, it's Sue Cosner, your favorite sexual health expert, with another version of Ask the Pro. This month, I got a letter from Sandy in Seattle about an explosive bedroom secret she and her husband recently discovered. She writes, Dear Sue, my husband and I used to have a great life in the bedroom, but in the last few years, he has struggled. He's tried about everything, but nothing has worked. Then one day he came home and gave me a night I will never forget. He told me about this secret formula, Noxatril, that changed our life in the bedroom once and for all. Wow, Sandy, you beat me to it. I recommend Noxatril to every guy that struggles in the bedroom. It's the only one. Noxatril is all natural and works to increase blood flow fast. It's like that little blue pill on steroids. Noxatril has a special free bottle offer, shipped discreetly to your door.
To find out how to get your bottle of Noxatril, call 800-421-0954. 800-421-0954. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now. 800-421-0954. 800-421-0954.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts and patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Free Talk Live. I spent 8.5 years of my life in prison, and I blame it squarely on the shoulders of Christianity and the stories that I was told. If my parents, if the people at the Christian school, if the people at church would have just explained morality to me as opposed to explaining heaven and hell as a reason for doing what was right and what was wrong, I think I would have understood. It's relatively easy. If you do the moral thing in life, your life is going to be better. You're going to sleep better at night. You're going to probably be much more prosperous.
Right.
They say crime doesn't pay. They say it for a reason.
Happen right here in this world. We don't have to wait for an afterlife to experience the consequences of our actions, whether good or bad,
If I would have just been given the gift of morality instead of the gift of some silly, crazy story, I would never have gone to prison. Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in to talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and the captain.
And we're going to move on, as we were talking about, to a homeless situation. One of the things that immediately strikes me about this New York City, this New York Post article about New York City is the headline: New York City secretly exports homeless to Hawaii and other states without telling receiving politicians. Now, what I find fascinating about that is the dehumanization aspect of it, referring to homeless people as homeless. It's dehumanizing. It's a way of erasing them. It's very much like referring to trans people as a trans. No, it's a trans person. It's a homeless person, Yeah,
they wrote it as if they're commodities to be put in the box and shipped across the country, which is pretty much literally what they're doing.
Yes, and that seems to be what New York City thinks as well. New York City generously shares its homeless crisis with every corner of America. This coming to us again from the New York Post. And you said this is common, right?
Well, so you hear about this kind of thing, like the Super Bowl, right? The city that hosts it, rotates every year or whatever. And you hear about, we have to put the homeless on a bus and ship them out of state for the week of the Super Bowl while the festivities are going on, so our city doesn't look so dirty. Right, that kind of thing.
And do they just like never bring them back? Obviously,
I've heard of cities buying homeless people one-way bus tickets to wherever they'd like to go on the Greyhound, and buy them a one-way bus ticket and ship them out of town. It's real common for cities to do this, particularly when the city is hosting some sort of an event. I think Google is your friend on that one.
Interesting. From the tropical shores of Honolulu and Puerto Rico to the badlands of Utah and backwaters of Louisiana, the Big Apple has sent local homeless families to 373 cities across the country with a full year of rent in their pockets as part of Mayor Bill de Blasio's special one-time assistant program. Usually, the receiving city knows nothing about it. Well, look, I have to say, if you're sending people away with a year's rent in their pocket, you're not exactly exporting homeless people.
No, you're giving them GTFO money.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if it works, if I would love to believe this is true, that New York City is actually giving people a year's worth of rent and saying, here, go live somewhere else. I don't really see a problem with that other than the fact that it's funded by taxpayers and it's all stolen and all of that. But I mean, hey, yeah, sure, this is a great idea. As far as taxpayer funds go, I don't find it extremely objectionable.
Yeah, if it worked, but the problem is I don't think it's going to work.
Probably not. City taxpayers have spent $89 million on rent alone since the program's August 2017 inception to export. They really did use the word export. 5,074 homeless families, 12,000 individuals to places as far as Newark and as far away as the South Pacific.
Makes it seem like somebody has placed an order. Yes, I'd like 500 homeless, please. Can you export them to me?
Yeah, can we get prime shipping on that?
2 days.
Families who once lived in city shelters decamped to 32 states and Puerto Rico. The city also paid travel expenses through a separate taxpayer-funded program called Project Reconnect, but would not divulge how much it spent. A Friday flight to Honolulu for 4 people would cost about $1,400. Is that it? Well, I know what I'm doing this summer.
Time to go to Honolulu.
Man, no kidding. A bus ticket to Salt Lake City, Utah for the same family would cost $800.
I don't know, man. Like, the bus services, Greyhounds and such, they always have deals where, like, if you book far enough in advance, you can get your bus ticket for like $50 or something,
Well, the government always pays retail or higher.
That's true.
Add to that the cost of furnishings, which the city also did not disclose. So the article seems to be taking an issue with, this is just too expensive.
Let's not address the point at all that like the money's stolen and, government programs rarely actually do what they claim.
One soda recipient said she received $1,000 for them. DHS defends the stratospheric costs. So yeah, they have totally missed the point.
Well, then what kind of further bureaucracy did they create to implement this program, right? So everybody whose job it is to oversee this program and implement it, right? Of course, they're going to defend it. It's their job. They lose their job if they don't.
So
that's how bureaucracy works.
Evidently, it saves the city on shelter funding, which amounts to about $40,000 annually per family, as compared to the average yearly rent of $17,000 to send them elsewhere and say, good luck, GTFO.
Yeah. Oh, so they're defending this as a cost-saving measure.
Yes, exporting the homeless people from New York City to other cities in Puerto Rico with a year's rent in their pockets is evidently more cost-effective than keeping them in shelters in New York City. This sounds like a New York City standard of living problem, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, well, New York City. Yeah. New York City it's a major city. Lots of people want to be there, so and it has rent control, so it's expensive.
So they were initially saying this whole article is bizarre. Not only are officials in towns where the city's homeless land up in arms, but hundreds of the homeless families are returning to the 5 boroughs. And some are even suing New York City over being abandoned in barely livable conditions. I'm so confused right now.
Yeah, I can't quite wrap my brain around that.
So they would rather be homeless in New York City than have homes in other states?
Depends on the
like
home. I mean, if you stick somebody in a rat-infested hole, it doesn't really matter if it's in New York City or Louisiana.
And I have bigger questions too. like when did it become illegal for somebody to not, have a home or a place, right? Like nomadic living has been a staple of, well, every creature on the planet, really. You know what I mean? And why does somebody have to have a house or an apartment or a home, right?
Isn't it a vagrancy law or something like that?
Yeah, those have been on the books for decades.
Yeah, right. But I mean, why is that illegal? What's wrong with it fundamentally?
I don't know why any of it's illegal. We suggested that DHS reach out to people as their subsidy runs out to confirm they will be secure and not have to re-enter shelter, but the agency told us they have no plans to do that. That was a very confusingly worded statement, so they suggested that the city of New York reach out to the no longer homeless people that they exported to other cities with a bunch of cash in their pockets and make sure that they had, their feet on the ground.
Why would they do that? They're not in New York anymore. New York thinks it's not their problem.
They just paid them to leave. Now they want them to check up on them, make sure they're doing okay.
About 56% of the families move out of state, costing the city an average of $15,600 in annual rent. 35% move within city limits with an average rent of $20,500, and 9% move elsewhere in New York State. Homeless individuals and families, hey, look at that. They finally didn't dehumanize homeless people.
Yeah, for once.
Are eligible for SOTA, that's an acronym for the GTFO money, presumably, if they can prove they have been in a New York City shelter for at least 90 days, and that their household income is no more than twice what it owes in rent.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm having a difficulty. I wasn't aware a lot of homeless people had jobs.
Or a place to live, apparently, which if they do, then they're not really homeless, right?
Yeah. They are paying, if they're paying rent somewhere, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say they're probably not homeless.
Yeah, or if somebody's paying their rent somewhere, right, then they technically have a home, right?
The agency's website provides vague descriptions of the income and shelter stay requirements. Do shelters require rent payments? I've been homeless before, but never homeless enough to, I need to seek out a shelter.
I've never heard of a shelter charging people to live there.
I wouldn't either. Then if you're staying in a shelter for more than 90 days to qualify for this thing, then what rent payment could they possibly be referring to?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not following the writer here.
But DHS says its reps work with landlords in cities where families want to move to find housing. At least 2 SOTA families told the Post that DHS pre-selected New Jersey apartments for them to view during a van run, then insisted they quickly sign leases. I mean, that's one solution. Just send them all to New Jersey.
We're from Jersey.
So in other words, if someone is in a shelter, y'all will give them money to go somewhere else if they have been there for 90 days. And some of those people have been sent to, someplace, said Michael Yenny, president of Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. More about this absurd story because it doesn't really get any clearer, but it certainly gets more interesting. 855-450-3733.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,504, silver at $18.04, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,717. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Takeoff with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Moscow is dismissing President Trump's celebratory statements on the U.S. Special Forces raid, which allegedly killed Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, as premature propaganda. Detailing some of the dismissive statements to come out of Russia hours following the major White House announcement of a terror leader's death, or what's become the Trump administration's own bin Laden moment, the Daily Beast cites Russian TV state correspondent in the United States, Denis Davidoff, as saying, quote, Trump has elections coming up in a year, and the announcement of al-Baghdadi's liquidation will add some points for the commander-in-chief, end quote. And more provocative is that the Kremlin has even rejected the rare praise that Trump personally heaped upon its military for its cooperation in the killing. Trump said in his Sunday morning victory speech, the Russians were very cooperative. They were really good. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Last Wednesday, U.S. Attorney General William Barr issued a memorandum to all U.S. attorneys, law enforcement agencies, and top-ranking Justice Department officials, announcing the imminent implementation of a new national disruption and early engagement program aimed at detecting potential mass shooters before they commit any crime. According to the Mind Unleash, citing the memorandum, Barr has directed the Department of Justice and the FBI to lead an effort to refine the ability to identify, assess, and engage potential mass shooters before they strike. Perhaps the most jarring aspect of the memorandum is Barr's frank admission that many of the early engagement tactics that the new program would utilize were born of the posture adopted with respect to terrorist threats. In other words, the foundation for many of the policies utilized following the post-9/11 war on terror are also the foundation for the early engagement tactics that Barr seeks to use to identify potential criminals as part of the new policy. Chilean President Sebastián Piñera, on Saturday, said he would reshuffle his cabinet after over 1 million Chileans poured into city streets across the country on Friday to demand structural reforms to the country's government and economic system. The move by Panera came as the protest movement mobilized people in the capital of Santiago and beyond. Panera made his announcement late Saturday morning. The timeline and plan for the replacement of ministers remains unclear. On Saturday, Reuters reported that a document obtained by the news agency suggested the president was considering replacing the heads of at least 9 ministries, including the ministries of Interior, Defense, Economy, Transportation, and Environment. Chilean Senator Felipe Cast on Twitter credited the Friday protests with prompting the decision. The protest began October 15th after high school students occupied subway stations in Santiago to protest fare hikes. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Could dropping bombs on Afghans without warning from terrifying robot airplanes that fly themselves actually hurt America's efforts to stabilize Afghanistan?
It's complicated. No, not at all. Actually, I think we need to stay the course. You don't change horses midstream, and you don't stop firing missiles from unseen death droids soaring high above the clouds just because a couple of schools get blown up.
We have got to find another way to obliterate this population.
What about flaming bulldozers or 50-foot tall tanks?
Let's do what we can for these civilians. I mean, why not name the drones Billy or Steve to make them seem less dispassionate?
That is a terrible idea. Billy is a horrible name for a drone.
They're now developing a 40-foot robot that actually looks more like an American soldier and also sprays lasers out of his eyes.
Well, at least that's a step forward.
Hey, look, as long as it fires missiles and bombs with very little accuracy and 0 Americans are at threat, I'm all for it.
Good point.
They should give it funny, floppy arms.
Yes.
Oh, it should spray candy out of its chest a few minutes before it starts shooting everything.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
Michael.
Captain Kickass.
So, New York City, it seems, has been exporting homeless people to other parts of the world. In fact, paying them. It's not like they have progressed a bit from just putting them on a bus and shipping them off to other states. They're actually...
I just have a picture in my head of like a warehouse where they're like, carefully picking a homeless person off the shelf, wrapping him in bubble wrap, putting him in the right sized box, putting the label on them, the UPS tag and all that kind of stuff to export them.
Well, that's not entirely inaccurate. I see my visual that comes to me is of the South Park episode where they have a homeless problem suddenly in South Park. And just the last scene where Cartman starts singing, Everybody's Going to Hate Me for Spacing on This.
I haven't seen the episode, so no hate here.
Okay. Well, it's a really famous rapper, Tupac. It was a Tupac song that they sang. Yeah. It was very funny. South Park, typical South Park stuff. So the mayor of Harrisville, Utah, who received some of these people and who was so baffled to receive a call from the Post that she questioned if the reporter had the wrong number, asked if SOTA recipients are connected to social services in the towns where they move. Shouldn't the mayor know the answer to that?
Or at least
you would think, but like this headline said, New York City is sending these people out to these towns and not telling anybody.
But you would think that, like, as the mayor, they would at least know a person that they could call within the organization who could get them the answer.
Are they just cutting them loose and saying, here you go? Or are they making sure they don't find themselves in the same situation a year later? Well, I mean, it's not It's distressing to hear a place from Utah adopt this nanny state mentality. Look, the state gave these people a year's worth of rent. It's not that's far beyond the state's responsibility to people in the first place. I mean, the state should have no responsibility to people, but that's far beyond what the state ordinarily does for people. And it cultivates this mentality that, they're not doing enough to take care of these poor simpletons who can't manage to work out a way to survive with a year's rent in their pockets.
Well, that's the thing is you can stick somebody in a house for a year and that's fine, but a lot of these people need different things. They have
alcohol,
drug addictions, alcoholism, mental illnesses, whatever, and it seems to me like this is just a way for New York City to get away with not providing these services.
Which I'm fine with, because the state shouldn't be providing these services. But SOTA recipients are the population of citizens who require ongoing social services and resources. Therefore, once SOTA ceases funding, program recipients end up using our state and local resources to maintain themselves. So I guess I can see why it's such a weird and warped perspective to get my head around, though.
What's the acronym? SOTA? S-O-T-A?
Yes.
Something like that.
These human beings are coming here, and we're upset that these people who need help and assistance came here with $17,000 in their pockets and are going to need us to take care of them
when that money runs out.
Sade Collington, her husband, and 2 children moved back into a Bronx shelter after relocating to an East Orange, New Jersey apartment that had no water, heat, or electricity. Well, they probably weren't aware that those things aren't generally included in one's rent, and that you kind of have to pay your own water bill and electricity bill and heating bill. I don't know about the case in New York City, but it could just be the case that, that was unfamiliar to them, that they say it was completely unlivable. We could not stay there any longer. We went to a shelter for another 6 months. I would agree that in order for a place to qualify as livable, it has to have at least water, right? Heat, I would say, extremely important. Electricity, extremely important, but not necessarily unlivable. But water?
Yeah,
you kind of need that. Collington has filed a notice of claim against the city, indicating she plans to sue over the ordeal. Now, coming back to didn't she sign this lease?
Yeah, well, didn't they say they were just driving people around randomly in New Jersey and pressuring them to sign leases without actually having the opportunity to inspect these apartments?
Somebody somewhere has got to be making some money off of this, right? It just has to be, right? I mean, politicians don't, special one-time assistance is what SOTA supposedly stands for, but it sounds to me like, I don't know, some sort of welfare program for landlords, perhaps.
Interesting point.
The places they're sending these people are just so totally random.
Who benefits from, them getting this special one-time assistance? Right? It would be, whoever they rent from, right? Because that's where the money's going, theoretically.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, are they handing the cash directly to the homeless person and saying, here's 1 year's worth of rent?
It says they are putting it into their pockets.
Interesting.
I don't know how literal that is, but it could be.
I mean, I feel like just knowing what bureaucracies do, that there's a whole bunch of paperwork and red tape that they have to jump through to receive the cash, forms to be filled out, tracking to be had. And then I would also imagine somehow that a landlord agreeing to take this money as rent would also have to be a part of some sort of program, or at least have filed for a license to collect this money or something along those lines.
Let's go to the phones. We've got John calling from Arkansas. John, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, everyone. This is a very interesting topic. I didn't even dream that New York City would be doing something like this. How long has it been occurring?
The SOTA program was initiated in 2017, according to the article, but according to what Captain said earlier, they've actually been doing this sort of thing for quite a long time.
Well, I don't know about this particular program, but cities have been known to ship their homeless out of town in order to, quote, clean it up, unquote.
For special events and things like that.
Yeah, Salt Lake City did it for Utah, right?
Yeah, when they had the Olympics.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, with this, okay, the recipients of this money, I heard you question whether or not they're just straight cash into their pocket, or it could be a form of debit card, but there's got to be somebody, a landlord, a REIT, someone making money on this.
Yeah, well, ultimately, it's definitely the landlords who are benefiting from this because presumably it may be the liquor companies or the drug dealers or something like that, but at least some portion of this is making its way to the landlords. I mean, that's almost a given.
Right. But I wonder if some of these recipients are the illegal immigrants coming into the sanctuary city.
They could be. I don't know. Is New York
that.
City a sanctuary city? It doesn't sound like it. Or the examples they've given didn't sound like illegal immigrants or immigrants of whatever status. I can't find the name now. The article is rather lengthy, but the name it gave was a standard American-sounding name.
Wow. Well, like I said earlier, that was new news to me, and I appreciate you guys bringing it to light.
Awesome. Well, thank you, John, for the call. 855-450-3733. Evidently, 224 of the soda families have ended up back in New York City shelters.
Oh, my.
Now, that's out of the 5,000 that have been sent out. So what is that,
That's
roughly about 5%?
Yeah.
So it's not terribly unsuccessful.
Well, how are we defining success here, right?
Those are the ones that were able to make it back to New York, because they're not sending all these people to East Orange, New Jersey, just across the river.
That's true. Yeah, it's going to be substantially harder to make your way back from Honolulu or Puerto Rico than it is.
Yeah.
Or very nearly impossible if you don't have cash to buy an airline ticket.
More on this story. If you've got thoughts on the homeless situation in New York City or just, the homeless population in any part of the country, give us a call. That number's 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico-Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico-Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico-Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? 1? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Divvy is crypto made easy. Anyone can use Divvy to securely and seamlessly spend, earn, store, or exchange digital money, the US dollar, and euros. Divvy is fast. Transactions happen in seconds with fewer fees. While other altcoins are languishing, the Divvy price has risen substantially against BTC. Now's the time to make a switch to Divvy or make your start with cryptocurrency with Divvy. Visit DivvyProject.org. Divvy is crypto made easy. Plus one-click masternodes. DivvyProject.org. Again, DivvyProject.org.
Do you want to join the ultra-wealthy by using a 160-year-old investing program that is no longer exclusive? Keep your funds fluid and 100% tax-free for you or your heirs with no contribution limits and without ever losing your principal with Fortune DNA. Learn how to avoid the volatility of the market and put certainty back into your investing future. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind using the toll-free number 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Michael.
Captain Kickass.
Do you know, today a lot of people are taking control of their own health. Well, not me, because I'm too lazy for that. But they want to make sure to avoid the pain of getting sick, the loss of time at work, and costly medical bills. Well, good nutrition is the key to looking and feeling great. However, eating right all the time can be a challenge, or even at all. I eat out every single meal of every single day. Wow. Travel and work schedules can get in the way, see what I just said, or you may not have the desire or time to shop and cook the right foods. Also, me. I mean, this thing, it was almost designed for exactly people like me. Balance of Nature has the solution. With just 3 of the Balance of Nature fruit capsules and 3 of their vegetable capsules, you get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, and that's a lot of nutrition. After taking Balance of Nature, people report that their skin looks better, bags under their eyes go away, they have more energy, body pain is reduced, or it goes away entirely. Go online and become a preferred customer, which gets you the best pricing and free shipping. After your 3rd month, Balance of Nature will ship to you at no charge an additional set of fruit and vegetables. Now, this is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Go to balanceofnature.com and use the discount code FTL. Every time I read all of that, I'm like, this sounds perfect.
Are you on it? Are you doing the thing?
I'm not.
No?
Because
you got a web browser open. Good, just go and do that.
Yes, but I'm also doing a radio show.
Oh, well, yeah. You can do it during the break.
You've got a point there.
I can, but I'm too busy smoking and messing around and doing other things during the break. Hopefully tonight I will finally remember to actually go home and order this thing that sounds like it was designed for people who do exactly what I do. So DHS says that its reps do work with landlords in cities where families want to move to find housing. So the Department of Human Services there in New York City has admitted that it works with landlords in other cities and states. At least 2 SOTA families told the Post that DHS pre-selected New Jersey apartments for them to view during a van run. We mentioned this earlier, and I mentioned that particular detail.
This reminds me of, like, I don't know, I've seen like a television show, several of them, or even a movie where, like, they're using the homeless as like sort of human guinea pigs, right? And they just pull the van up and offer them all these free things to get them in the van. And then the van drives away and you never see or hear from these particular homeless people again. That's what this sounds like. A van run. Come on, homeless, everybody pile in the van. We're going to look at these carefully pre-selected apartments for you that, we're conveniently going to just give you.
Oh, yeah, for free. No.
It
No, it's
doesn't.
for
That
real.
sounds like the plot to like an evil movie. Or,
I think I read that book actually.
You're not wrong. And somebody pointed out on Twitch earlier, that's twitch.freetalklive.com, that if any government program is spreading the next plague, it's this one. So it's certainly, I don't think the city of New York is currently rounding up homeless people and executing them. But if they were to do that, they would clearly be able to get the homeless people into the vans.
Yep.
And that's not good.
Not at all.
Let's go back to the phone. So we've got Mike calling from Washington. Mike, you are on Free Talk Live.
Hi, Aria.
Hi.
We have a homeless. I'm encouraging people to YouTube Aberdeen, Washington, and we don't have a van. We have a motorhome that hands out clean needles. 57 million, I believe, last year. There's only 20,000 people live there. I forget the most needles in the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
And the mayor just bought 300 brand new reversible winter summer tents. There's heroin, there's methamphetamine, marijuana is already legal. I encourage people to go west and find Aberdeen, Washington, and move there and let them foot the bill for you with their new homeless mitigation center that wasn't required by law, but they did it anyway. And now they have this wonderful place if you're homeless to go live and enjoy your life.
Now, is this
At
like
the
we were
expense
just
of the
talking about? Are you
taxpayers.
offering them like a free apartment so that they can disappear?
No, there's a free reversible summer winter tent located right at, yes, City Hall.
They have a tent city at City Hall.
300 brand new tents. They haven't even got them yet. They paid for them. They haven't come in the mail yet, but they're waiting. They'll be there in November. So I'm encouraged, since you can't live in the town, you might as well be homeless there and have all the amenities that you would need if you're homeless. That's Aberdeen, Washington. Look it up on YouTube, folks.
Why can't someone live there? Or did you
Because
just
the
meet these
town
particular
is-
people?
No, because the town has got like 300 homeless people living there in a town of about 17,000. So you can't hardly walk the streets of downtown. It's a very small town.
Now, why is the homeless problem there so extreme?
I think it's because the mayor just bought 300 tents. They've spent over, when they get their next $179,000 allotted to themselves for the homeless situation, they will have spent over $500,000 in 2019.
So do you think, Mike,
on the homeless?
And they bought 300 tents.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think that this is a case of government perpetuating its own problem? That, okay, well, let's start a thing to solve a thing, and then, oh no, okay, now we're actually attracting more homeless to the Aberdeen area?
I'm not sure. The election is in about 4 days, and I think there's probably going to be a new mayor. We have the youngest mayor in the country. I don't know. You'd have to look online at Aberdeen, Washington, but it's been a terrible homeless problem, and it's basically ruining the community.
How long has this been an issue? Because I know there's a huge problem in Seattle.
About 5 or 6 years. It started about 5 or 6 years ago, and then it's just gotten worse and gotten worse and gotten worse to where a judge wouldn't allow them to stop camping or sitting on sidewalks. So they had to have a mitigation center where you could go if there was nowhere for you to go. But then the mayor bought property where they were already at, all the homeless people, bought that. It's now for sale, and then bought another piece of property closer to City Hall. And then the people voted down allowing them to put a homeless camp in this new location, like 200 feet from the original one where they already were. So now they're at City Hall.
Right, because everybody's NIMBY, right? Not in my backyard. That's a George Carlinism for those who don't know.
Exactly. It's just a real mess, and it's all over YouTube. It's a shame, but people have to go somewhere to go. But now the people that actually, were born and raised there can't hardly use their own city because of the homeless problem.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for the call. For the benefit of people, I did look into it briefly during parts of that, and he's not wrong with those numbers. Aberdeen does have a population of about 16,000, which is smaller than Keene here. Mm-hmm. And they have a homeless population of more than 300 people.
That's a lot.
That's huge.
Yeah. How does that, there's like maybe 10 in Keene? And I'm looking at that going, wow, this is way out of proportion. What is going on? And we're talking 300 out of 16,000?
Having lived in the West Coast, I can tell you that it doesn't get winter. So like the homeless can stay year round outside. So the tents is, not necessarily, something that you would see in a bigger city.
Interesting. 855-450-3733 or use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.freetalklive.com. Again, that number's 855-450-3733.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever you'd like. That number's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and the captain.
You know, for years, libertarians of all stripes have wanted a directory of liberty-minded businesses, and we're helping to build one. Liberty.menu. It's a tool for your community. At its core is a directory for events, businesses, and digital content, and so much more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of a social network to it so that you can connect and share with others. But use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu and use code FTL to get a special badge. That's Liberty.menu. Now, Baghdadi is dead. Again, I hear.
This is about 7th or 8th time?
It's at least the 5th time that he's been found dead. I don't know because I don't generally follow what happens between the United States and the various enemies it creates for itself around the world.
You know, the difference this time is supposedly there's a video.
Oh, interesting. But I guess before we can get into any of that, we need to get to the phones. We got Robert calling from Florida. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, I just wanted to comment about the little 7-year-old boy that's being put in dresses and makeup. I just think that's sick. And he's an immature little boy. He should be allowed to grow up and find out what he wants to be his own way.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but what if that little boy wants to grow up and be a woman?
He doesn't know what the hell he is. He's just a little kid.
I mean, isn't that the point of exploring these things, to find them out?
Once you let him explore it himself, the mother should let him explore it itself instead of try to tell him he's a little girl.
Well, what about the father telling him that he's a little boy?
He is a little boy. He's got a penis, doesn't he?
I don't know. I would not want to
check. Oh, you
check.
guys are sick. You know, you people.
I've got a... Yeah, because our dump button currently isn't here. I'm going to go ahead and preempt that with a drop button because I can't dump it at the moment. I've already messaged Ian about that. I just became aware of it, so that's unfortunate.
And the phones light up. No.
You're not wrong. But, you know, that's where I diverge from the people like him as a whole. Why are you telling this child that they're a little girl or whatever? Why are you telling them that they're a little boy? Why is what you're telling him better than what the other people are telling him? And sure, we can drag up that old tired argument about being born as the biological sex of male. That's fine. It's also distinct from gender and kind of unrelated to the issue at hand because the kid is 7 years old, has not undergone puberty, and if he wants to be a woman, then by the age of 20, he could be completely indistinguishable from any other woman with the exception that she would not be able to have children.
Now, there are still a lot of people out there, and I think our last caller, Robert, was one of them, that do not understand or do not believe that there's a distinction between biological sex and gender identity.
I would, yes.
So yeah, I from that perspective, I can see what his point is, but you know that that's just not the way it is.
It is not. Well, let's get back to the phones. However, we've got Olivia calling from Arizona. Olivia, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, Aria, Michael, and the captain.
Yo.
I wanted to briefly comment on the homeless thing because I've had this idea for a while that it would be really cool if in these big cities, I've seen a lot of abandoned hotel rooms. I'm sorry if I sound bad. I'm not feeling well.
I'm sorry to hear it.
I see a bunch of hotels that are abandoned and falling into disrepair, and I always thought it would be a really great idea if instead of letting all these rooms and space go to waste, if they had a bunch of homeless people in exchange for fixing the place up. give them a room to live out of and get their life back on track.
I like the sentiment. There's already enough houses in the United States for every man, woman, and child to have a house of their own, and then still have a bunch of houses left over. So it's distribution isn't the problem.
Well, I just thought it would be a kind of clever way to deal with urban blight and the homeless problem, but I don't know.
I find that the homeless that I've interacted with, their motivation system isn't quite the same, right? You can incentivize homeless people to do certain things, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do them.
I think it's still
That's true. I'm not saying it would work for every single homeless person, but I think there are quite a few people who've fallen on hard times or just don't even know where to start, or and they need a decent place other than a park bench because the odds feel insurmountable. I'm sure, even
Yeah, it's hard to get off the streets when you're on a park bench, but something like that, I'm not sure how well that would work for by itself. I'm not sure how well that would work for people that have mental illnesses or have addictions that they're battling, because those people with those conditions need more support than the roof over their head. They need that, but they need more than that.
Right. Well, this would be probably for more highly functioning homeless people. But I wanted to comment on the transgender thing too, and that was, at a certain point, people keep arguing about decisions being permanent. Well, all decisions are permanent because for that particular moment in time that you made them, you'll never be able to go back and change that moment. And this idea that some hypothetical time in the future is necessarily more valuable than the time now is kind of a fallacy. You may never live to see tomorrow, So I just think that's a weird point to argue from, that, oh, well, you may regret it. Well, yeah, you're going to regret things. And then, like you said,
does.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, why not be happy in this moment? And if you change your mind, just like anything else, use it as a growing experience, forgive yourself, change directions, and move on. I mean, these surgeries and these presenting yourself as a different gender, it's not permanent. That's not permanent either. You can always change back.
Yeah, you're right. We have to let individuals be just that, individuals. If we really want freedom, we have to want freedom for other people first. And that just means that you have to tolerate individuals being individuals.
So I totally agree with you that, like, the gender that you're born into or the sex that you have is not necessarily your gender. It's weird to me that the people want to give so much power over how you live your life and so many different aspects of how you live your life to, like, one organ of your body is weird to me. And you never really stop being a child, do you? Your body is always changing throughout life, and you're always mentally growing and learning and discovering things about yourself and the world. So, I don't know.
Interesting.
I guess it's perspective.
Olivia, I appreciate the call. I especially love the comment you made because I'm not a big fan of the band Rush, but they do have this line in one of their songs about living on the razor's edge between the past and the future. And that's a beautiful sentiment. I think a lot of people lose sight of that the future, completely hypothetical. The past, it exists only in memory. The only thing that's real is the present. So if somebody can do a thing in the present to be happier, why on earth would we want to stop them? Whether they're 5 years old, 15 years old, or 50 years old, let them enjoy that little slice of happiness while they can before life comes along to stomp their face into the ground.
And it will.
It always does.
We know there are people out there who enjoy making other people miserable.
Yeah. And as Olivia was saying, people are their body is going to change. I mean, that's inevitable, whether they get a tattoo, they grow up, or they get a disease, they get their arm cut off in some horrible disfiguring accident. Does that mean they should regret all of those years spent learning to play the violin because now their hand's chopped off? Oh, no. What are we going to do? We can't let kids learn to play the violin now. They may get in an accident and lose their hand. It's completely silly reasoning, of course, that I'm putting forward, but that's because it's completely silly reasoning that other people are putting forward to use in their justification for controlling the actions and behaviors of others.
Amen.
855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. I'm sure you disagree. Give us a call. Let me know.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. For your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever you'd like. That number's 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and the captain.
And shout out to Purple Lotus, who is our amplifier of the day. Thank you, Purple Lotus. Amplifier means that he advertises, markets, and promotes the show, but you can check it out by going to amp.freetalklive.com. That's money that is strictly used to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. So go check it out. There's 3 tiers available there. There's the silver tier, the gold tier, and the platinum tier. Purple Lotus is a silver amplifier. All we ask for people is $5 a month. And again, that's literally just used to help the show. If you like what we're doing here, and it seems a lot of people tonight don't, but in general, if you like what we're doing here, go check out amp.freetalklive.com, and you can help us, bring this message of liberty, non-aggression, and individual responsibility, individual autonomy to people all around the world. Again, that's amp.freetalklive.com. Now, we have to at least mention it. Baghdadi was killed. Right.
Okay.
I don't know who this guy is.
He was the head of ISIS, the Islamic State.
No, that's the Pentagon.
Well, the guy who they put in charge of ISIS.
Okay, gotcha. Well, evidently his death was communicated by some special operations forces, and President Donald Trump stood around looking like Ralph from The Simpsons, like he knew what was going on when he didn't. And I don't know. I've heard report. Yeah. No, that's Nelson.
Oh, that's Nelson. My bad.
I'm hearing reports that Baghdadi may have, in fact, blew himself up.
Yeah, I heard that as well. I was just scrolling through some random news articles to, bring myself up to speed. And this one actually says, came to a dramatic end this weekend as U.S. forces overcame gunfire, booby trap, and explosive vests during a raid in northwest Syria. The ISIS leader, quote, blew himself up when cornered by U.S. military personnel who conducted the 2-hour nighttime raid.
Did he mean to blow himself up?
Probably.
I don't know.
Could be.
I don't either. Let's go to the phones. We've got David calling from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, Al Douchebag Daddy.
Yeah.
So how about them gay Nazis,
effort.
huh?
How about what?
Yeah. Them gay Nazis.
Are the gay Nazis still giving you a hard time, David?
Are they from Illinois?
What are you talking about hard there, boy? Huh? What do you mean by that?
Are you talking to us?
There? Huh? Are you talking to me?
Are they still giving you a difficult time?
Well, not the gay Nazis, just the commie Nazis over at the. Actually, that's interesting too. A lot of those brown shirts were actually communists. When we were originally talking about that, the brown shirts, the SA, the stormtroopers, a lot of them were actually communists.
You're aware that Hitler characterized communism as one of the biggest threats to German sovereignty, right?
Yeah, that doesn't mean that a lot of those boys that joined the brown shirts weren't.
Well, sure, sycophants will suck up to whoever has the power. That's why they're communists.
Anyway, what I called about is, and I was tying to that, there was the communists at the University of New Mexico. I know that people don't care about my plight, but maybe they care about their own plight. And at least for the time being, in the United States, you have a First Amendment, even though it's trampled on all of the time. But it's getting trampled on more and more, especially at government institutions, especially at universities where they're shutting down free speech, and they put you in little free speech boxes where you can protest in this box, but nowhere else on campus. And if you do protest somewhere else on campus, then we'll have the campus police come and arrest you and take you to jail for exercising your free speech outside of the free speech box. So in that vein, like I said, I know people don't care about my plight, but they care about their own, and it's going to spread. And I'm being prosecuted, criminally charged on 3 different charges for calling into the KUNM University of New Mexico radio station on their talk program where they invite people to call in.
Now, this is the gay and trans Nazis, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and them telling me that they don't like the speech that I want to offer, and don't call back anymore.
Okay.
Which I don't think is, since they're a publicly owned and publicly paid for institution, I don't believe they have the right to do that, just like they can't put you in a box to have your free speech. So anyway, the bottom line is is protect your own free speech. Who cares about mine? And follow this case just as a test case because it might be interesting. And you do that by going to nmcourts.gov, and then you just use their little case lookup, and you enter my name, Olson, with an O, David, 1964, and you can stalk me and dox me or whatever you want to do for those of you that are so inclined. And for the other ones that like to live life straight, they might find it interesting.
This sounds really familiar.
He calls quite a lot to talk about it. So explain to me how this whole thing started. You were calling a radio station. They told you not to call anymore. And you kept calling, they said, so they pressed charges, right?
Yeah, they called their private police force, the University of New Mexico Police Department, and had them come over, and they wrote up charges and sent me a summons to court, and that's still ongoing and spreading. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Keep us updated on it, despite my insistence that there were no gay Nazis. I am interested in the cases you have going forward, especially because if it's true that the radio station that he's trying to call is in fact publicly owned.
Yeah, if it's government owned and government funded, then I don't see how they can ban him from speaking for whatever his opinion is.
Well, I mean, the government owns the TSA. I don't see how they can do what they do, but they still exist. So, government exists in violation of itself.
Excellent point. I mean, that's sort of the problem with the way that government, assigns these little tasks to other independent bodies. The First Amendment simply states that Congress shall make no law inhibiting the free expression or whatever it was. I don't remember the exact terminology, but Congress has made no such law. The University of New Mexico has. And it's not a law, it's a policy.
Right.
And, there's all these gray lines there that they use to blur the issue so that they can inhibit people's freedom of speech. But, I mean, in the most literal terms, no, this is all the more reason why the Constitution sucks and should, be used to wipe our behinds.
Yeah, well, I read a headline this weekend that said something like half of all millennials thought we shouldn't have free speech.
Wow.
I'm not surprised.
Wow. Half.
Good job, Gen X. Boy, you raised them right, didn't you?
Don't blame this on us.
The millennials were raised by Gen X.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not everyone in Gen X is responsible for that.
I hate referring to people
I'm innocent
in their generational terms.
I do too,
right?
but I find it so fascinating.
And in fact, who raised all of these people? The state. Right, their mandatory 12 years of indoctrination. Right, I mean, come on. 2-income families are the norm now, right? So there's no such thing as it's one parent who stays home. There's no more community schools. I mean, these things exist in very small quantities, of course, right? So I'm not saying all, but the majority of people raised by the state, institutionalized daycare.
Yeah. So what's that expression about sending your kids to Caesar to be educated? And being surprised they come back Roman. So sure, the public education system, certainly it raised entire generations. It continues to.
Gen X too, so,
Yeah, so shockingly, what we got was a bunch of statists who think that, the government should be in control of health care and should raise the minimum wage.
Yeah, I don't know. I survived public school, and I didn't.
I didn't either.
I survived, but I mean, I dropped out, so.
So did I.
At some point, my instincts were like, dude, get the F out.
I'm reminded, though, about my father, who's much older. When I was talking with him about cryptocurrency and the Federal Reserve and all of that, he was like, and what's the name of this government organization? I was like, well, it's not really government, but it's called the Federal Reserve. And he says, without knowing anything else about it, well, I think you're wrong. That sounds like something we should have. Based solely off its name.
Wow.
I mean, that's a level of indoctrination that is hard to reach. But it's common.
Yeah, a lot of people do think like that.
How do you fight the state when the state educates all of the children, or almost all of the children?
You've got to do deprogramming on a mass scale. And I don't know.
Education is the start. And that's what we're doing here, right?
That's why government schools are free and compulsory.
Thank you for listening. Head on over to the show archives at freetalklive.com. You'll find archives there going back 10 years, since before podcasting was even a thing. Again, that's freetalklive.com, and we'll be back same time tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Hey, let me tell you something. The balance of nature really works, man. I mean, I work constantly on the road, and I put in 60 hours in 4 days, 15 hours a day, and I'm telling you, this stuff works.